Game 3 of the preseason, your New Jersey Devils, or at least a version of them, head in a lot of traffic, I would imagine, onto the island, UBS Arena, and take out the Islanders by a score of 4-2. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And we were all forced to watch an Islanders broadcast. Not my cup of tea by any stretch of the imagination. Wish we had the home guys, but either way, the Devils get it done. The Devils get it done. Islanders had some more NHL regulars in the lineup. I thought that might be a little bit of an uphill battle for the Devils, but they were up to the task. Go on the island, beat the Islanders by a score of 4-2, and we get to the scoring. First period, Seamus Casey sends Glendening in, and he beats Sorokin clean. His first of the preseason as a New Jersey Devil. Gives the Devils the 1-0 lead. That is how the first period would end. Jake Allen looked pretty solid, I thought, in that first period. Several good saves. Seamus Casey came to play tonight. He certainly came to play. He's probably feeling a little bit of that pressure now, brought on by ethanedwards, and Casey had himself a night. But 1-0 Devils after one. We go to the second, and midway through, Devils get caught in their own end. Super, super horrible luck. Two guys break their sticks. It's essentially a 5-on-3. The pressure's mounting. Islanders are whipping it around, and eventually they score. I was pretty pissed about that. They don't make hockey sticks like they used to. Two guys without sticks. Islanders capitalize. Tied up at 1, and at that point, Jake Allen leaves the game. The young goaltender, Jakob Malik, enters the game at that point, makes some good saves early, and that is how the second period would end. All tied up at 1, heading into the third. And I'm not sure on the pronunciation on this. I've heard a bunch of different ones, but I think I'm now going to go with Legare. Is that Legare? Is that the appropriate pronunciation here? Legare puts a couple Islanders on a poster, including number 1 overall pick Schaefer, kind of wins 2 puck battles en route to bringing it in alone. He scores his first of the preseason, gives the Devils the 2-1 lead, assisted by Crookshank and Rooney. Love to see the depth guys getting it done. Hopefully that is something we see carry on into the regular season. As all of you know, bottom 6 last year, absolutely anemic. Cannot have it again this year. And would love to see some of these bottom 6 guys contribute, you know, whoever that may be. But Legare, a guy probably at the moment on the outside looking in, looking to make a name for himself and maybe one of the first call-ups when injuries occur. Devils up 2-1 at that point, and the stud strikes again. Oh, the stud strikes again. Gritsuk comes in on a breakaway. I'm getting excited. I'm standing up as soon as I see the breakaway developing. Gets stoned on the initial shot and makes an amazing follow-up for the second chance effort. Puts it past Sorokin. Gives the Devils a 3-1 lead. Gritsuk's second of the preseason from Cotter, and Seamus Casey with his second assist on the evening gives the Devils a 3-1 lead. What a play by Gritsuk. This kid's exciting, guys. I've talked about my personal expectations for him for quite some time now. I'm trying not to get too excited. A lot of people from months ago had him penciled in the top 6, which I thought was obviously very optimistic and maybe, you know, too optimistic. Said, you know, let's get the kid here, see what he could do. But so far, this kid is exciting. This kid is exciting, and he might have the goods. We may not see him in the bottom 6 for long. Going to be very interesting to see the kind of development process and where Gritsuk lands in this lineup. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm hoping for him to force his way into the top 6. I just think he's that talented and has that much potential. And he's only played in 3 NHL preseason games. My God, 2 goals and an assist through 3 games for Gritsuk. But what a second chance effort there to get the rebound. Devils up 3-1, and then late in the game, Islanders pull the goalie super early in true Patrick Waugh fashion. And my man Jakob Malik's perfect night gets ruined with the extra attacker. Duclair beats him on a nice one. It kind of sucked. I wish that didn't happen. I wanted Malik to have the perfect stat line, but it wasn't in the cards. Duclair buries one, cuts the lead to 3-2. Islanders eventually pull the goalie again, and Angus Crookshank on the empty net, making up for, or at least atoning somewhat for his less than stellar clearing attempt on that Islanders goal just a couple minutes before. Crookshank goes in on the empty net, gets his first of the preseason, gives the Devils the 4-2 lead, assisted by Legare and Shimon Nemitz. 4-2 Devils. That is how the game would end. And wow, solid effort from the boys. I'm just looking for something here. Solid effort from the boys. Got to be pleased. Got to be pleased with the effort. They get the win. Oh, Bobby, thank you, sir. Thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? Very impressed tonight. Thought Malik looked really good and Gritsuk more comfortable. Also, Watt never looks happy, always grumpy. Yeah, Malik I thought looked really good. He made a bunch of really good saves. And he's a guy that's going to be in the mix, trying to be part of the future of goaltending for the New Jersey Devils, whenever that may come. It seems like our veterans may be hanging on for a while. Jake Allen signed for 5 years. While no one expects him to play all 5 of those years, they're talking about extending Markey too. So I don't know when or how Malik is going to be here, but I do think he will be part of a tandem at some point for your New Jersey Devils, along with Big Mike Yegorov, who's starting his season at BU. And I meant to check. That game should be over. I totally forgot. Let me just, I meant to check on that. I think BU opened their season tonight. Or no, what the hell did I see? Is it like some, I don't know, I'm going to have to double check on that. I thought they had something going on. But thanks a lot, Bobby. Really appreciate it. Wow. Exciting times, guys. We're getting closer and closer to the regular season. And we have so many exciting kind of storylines looming in the background. Get to the game stats. Devils 27 shots on goal. Islanders 25. Devils beaten a little bit in the faceoff circle, 45.5% to 54.5%. Nothing on the power play for either team. Devils 29 hits. Islanders with 35 hits. Devils 15 block shots. Islanders 8 block shots. Devils 8 giveaways. Islanders 6 giveaways and 0 takeaways for both teams. That is the tail of the tape there. We get to the detailed stats. And let me just see what jumps out at me here. Shout out to the Shank. Angus Crookshank, a goal and an assist for 2 points in his 15 minutes. 2 blocks as well. Legare, a goal and an assist, 2 points. What do we got here? Paulie Cotter with an assist. Oh, shit. Where'd the hits go? Did I lose the hits column? I was in a rush snipping this. Gritsuk with the goal. Shimon Nemitz an assist. Two blocks. I missed the hits on the forwards. Wow. Hold on, guys. We have an update. Legare, 7 hits. A game high. 7 hits for Legare. Paulie Cotter with 2. You know, pretty standard stuff here, but wow, 7 hits. You'd love to see it. And then we look at the goalie stats. Jake Allen, 11 saves on 12 shots for a .917 save percentage. Not too shabby, and just a little bit over half the game. And then Jakub Malik, 12 saves on 13 shots for a .923. If you have not seen, I did an interview with Jakub a couple months back after development camp. Super nice kid. I think he's got the goods. I just put the link in the chat. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely check that out. Why is this doing this? Bear with me a second, guys. It's all jacked up here. But yeah, Jakub Malik, definitely going to be in the mix in the future. Exciting to see what becomes of his career down the line, and hopefully, him and Big Mike can give us a solid tandem at some point, and I think they will. Very curious to see what happens with the Markey extension. We've been hearing it, but we've first heard it confirmed by Fitz. I don't know, a couple weeks ago we first heard about that, I think. But We shall see. I saw a comment earlier. Let me just get to the comments here. Shout out to everybody coming out to talk some preseason puck. You guys are the hardcores. Jonathan Decker. Does win or lose me booze apply to the preseason? No. You got to. Some things are sacred. Some things are sacred, and all the shenanigans, I'm saving it up. Regular season, you already know what time it is. Preseason, we're taking it a little bit easy. We're going to ease our way into this thing, but you already know what time it is once the regular season comes. John Fay, I didn't want to talk about this too much, but I got to at least read one comment. And no offense to Luke, he hasn't played like a $10.5 million defenseman, at least in my opinion, in my eyes. I don't know about anyone else. 10.5 certainly seems a little bit greedy to me. And I'll leave it at that. That does not seem like leaving meat on the bone. You got to leave that meat on the bone. You want to have a team built around you to compete. 10.5 certainly does not scream that to me or give me the warm and fuzzies. Jay Snow says, I like Legare. I liked him from his 1 or 2 games he played last year, and Keefe talked really good about him in the post-game press conference of that game. And then we just kind of kept going with cycling through the different castaways, I'll call them, in the bottom 6. I don't know why he didn't get a more extended look. And the same, I would say, for Hallinan. Lobsty, I didn't exactly like watching/listening to the Islanders MSG broadcast, but at least the Devils won. Was not a fan of that broadcast team either. For Devil, Legare was very noticeable. Completely agree. 7 hits. Love to see that. Snow, if Luke wants too much, we could trade him, and Quinn would probably still come to the Devils. No, I'm pretty sure if somehow the Luke thing goes completely sideways, that will mark the end of the all 3 Hughes brothers kind of dream for the Devils. But we'll see. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's at this point going to be all 3 or just Jack. Jay Snow, Dobson got 9.5 now. Got 9.5. No, I guess that's no way Luke should get more. I mean, who knows, right? I don't think so either, but John NJDevils 45. What's going on, Casey? Beautiful saucer pass. John Fay, that's what I mean. Once I pay Luke like a 10.5 million D-man, then I'd want to give him the money, but he hasn't played like a $10.5 million D-man. Yeah, you're gambling on the future almost. Nemitz playing like Nemitz, in my opinion. Collect records, Grits looking solid. Stoked. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the more exciting unknown variables going into the season. Will this kid that everyone's been hyping up for so long now come over from the KHL and make a mark on this club? And so far, as advertised, as hoped, where does he end up slotting in the lineup, say maybe a month into the season? Where does he end up? I think they will probably start him in the bottom 6 just to kind of get him adjusted to regular NHL players. The preseason is still a much watered down level of competition and gameplay. Once the regular season starts, it will ratchet up a bit and it will be a little bit tighter out there for him. But as he kind of adjusts and gets used to everything, who knows? The sky's the limit for him, and I am super pumped to see how this all goes for him in his rookie season here. Hopefully he puts up big numbers. John Fay, hey, don't forget about the man of the hour, Angus Crookshank. Can never forget the shank. What's going on, Selected Boy? Steven says, Ace won full bonbon concession stand when he pronounced Legare. Michael S., I do think the bottom 6 will score a ton more than last year. It could be the difference in a lot of games. Absolutely. We've talked about this, beating it to death, as everyone has since last season. On nights where the big guns struggle to get it going, you need your bottom 6 to step up. And on those nights last season, if the big guns weren't getting it done, it seemed like we were cooked. The bottom 6 just couldn't do anything. And so that was the drought. Goal-scoring droughts came. I think we were shut out 8 or 9 times. Completely disgusting. And that's what happens when your bottom 6 can't do a damn thing. But hopefully that is a much different story this season. And we do see the bottom 6 contributing regularly. And that should amount to a good improvement in the overall team and the record. Selected Boy, what's up, Devils folks? Basic guy, something I believe is understated about Grit's goal. He had the maturity to take that shot early before the defenseman caught him and gave himself a chance to make a play on a rebound. Yeah, great play all around. Great play all around by Grits. Heads up play to pounce on that rebound and put it past his countryman, Ilya Sorokin. The OG NJ Devils fan, I really feel Legare needs a shot. He's smart, tough, good defenseman. Like tonight, can clearly put the puck in the net. Yeah, I think he's like, from what we've seen thus far, that is the type of energy and guy you want in your bottom 6. Absolutely. I'm a Legare fan. Fort Devil Crook pissed me off in the last Isles goal, but he made up for it. Yeah, he certainly knew that he blew the clearing attempt. What's going on, John? Devil Heaven 77. Beautiful fall night, upstate New York. Burgers on the grill, loaded up, fresh corn on the cob from the garden. Very nice. Very nice. John says he liked the fight in the boys. Stephen Engel, what's going on? Legare playing in the A or with the big club? If I had to bet money on it, I would say the A, but I think he's going to be one of those first guys called up. And we can't forget two of the guys I was the most pumped to see we have not seen yet. Shane LaChance and Lenny Haminaho, unfortunately, both injured in Buffalo in the Prospects Challenge. It really sucked. I was so pumped to see both of them. I'm hoping they play on Sunday, preferably at the home game. The home game will be, I probably will go to it, but I'm not definitive yet. But the home game will be televised, I believe. And then there's a split squad. Half the team is going to Quebec to play the Senators, and there is no television coverage for that one. So between two teams, I'd have to imagine both LaChance and Haminaho, assuming that they're good to go, will play on Sunday. And selfishly, I'm hoping it's in the home game. Del Heaven Hayes, what's up, Rubberneck? What's happening, Chisel Chest? What's going on? Matt, I really like that Grits followed a shot for the rebound and didn't turn back towards the neutral zone. Oh, no, that guy's got a nose for the net. That puck was laying there, and he's like, I'm going to pounce on this thing. Great play by Gritsuk. Would have loved to see him beat Sorokin clean on the breakaway, but I'll take a rebound goal any day. John says, all hail the Crookshank. Jason Legare just plays with that motor, and he's physical. 7 hits. Ethan, with Alexander Barkov and Tkachuk out, we should really beat the Panthers. So interesting point. And hopefully Barkov recovers. You know, I never want to wish injury on anybody or anything like that. But the reality is, hold on, I got a tonight's stream brought to you by Polar Seltzer, orange vanilla, a little bit of that creamsicle. Trying to find some quality sugar-free beverages just because I can't be out here drinking soda and liquor all the time. Don't want to wish injury on anyone, but the reality is the Panthers are a weaker team without Barkov. And two kind of thoughts on that. One, the path to the Stanley Cup Finals, I guess, is a little bit easier for all the other teams in the East. Now, you know, they haven't confirmed that he's out for the season yet or if he'll miss the playoffs. But if that is the case and he's done for the year, the East just got a lot more interesting. While I still expect the Panthers to be very good, you know, Barkov is one of their best players, and that certainly will hinder them. And as you point out, they're going to be without Tkachuk for at least, I think, the first few months of the season. And so this has created some opportunity. And with that opportunity, it should create urgency. For the Devils and other Eastern Conference teams that believe they can contend, this may be a year where you want to get a little more aggressive at the deadline, push some of those chips in, and really try to win now because the path of resistance is a little bit less, for sure. And then the second point with Barkov out is obviously the path to a Selke trophy for Nico Hischier just became a little bit easier as well. Unfortunate injury. Again, don't want to wish it on anyone. Hopefully Barkov recovers sooner than later. Hate to see guys get hurt, but there is a slight benefit to the other teams in the East with that news. Devil Heaven says Glendening looks solid. Absolutely. He's another guy that really may be in the opening night lineup. Could he make it? There's going to be some tough decisions for Keefe and his staff to make before the opening game. Four Devil Grits can work on that one-timer, hell of a shot, especially on the power play, but the puck won't go through any goalie's chest pad. Yeah, I mean, they're not all going to be laser snipes. You know, sometimes you are going to shoot it right into the goalie. It is what it is, but Gritsuk has quite a shot, man. Quite a shot. Luke's a solid win by a B team on the road. Let's go Devils. Absolutely. Pro Bolt says, Tkachuk is coming back in January. I believe they still have Ekblad, Bennett, Reinhart, Martian, and some decent players. Oh, for sure. They're nowhere near a one-man team. But, you know, losing a guy like Barkov would hurt any team. And is it enough of a loss for them to be dethroned by someone in the East? Devil Heaven, great depth, Glendening, Rooney, trivia. What great 80s movie, Rooney? Is that, are you talking about Rooney? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I believe. Malik is a horse. Bobby, did McLaughlin get hurt? Yeah, I think he got hurt on his first shift. I don't think they followed up on that, or if they did, I missed it. But, you know, injuries happen with this team. We already know that. Zach, thought it was interesting how Malik wears gloves under his blocker and glove. Yeah, he had on like his winter mittens. I thought that was pretty funny. When he was fixing his mask or whatever, he took off his glove and blocker, and underneath he had on like straight up winter mittens on. I did think that was very interesting. I've seen, I think Lundqvist even has worn gloves under his glove and blocker, but they seemed much thinner. These seemed like pretty thick, like winter mittens. I'm going to have to ask him about that. Let me try to catch up here. I fell behind a little bit. John NJDevils, Casey was slick tonight. Love his game. Yeah, big game for Casey. Like, he's probably hearing some of the chatter too, feeling the pressure of Ethan Edwards. That talk. But the reality is, someone, I forget, I missed it earlier, but someone made a comment about, maybe Edwards isn't ready and, maybe we do need Luke. While obviously the team is better with Luke, Edwards isn't the only guy, because if we go back to before all this kind of Edwards hype hit a crescendo, from the first day of camp, I believe this was, these were the anticipated pairs. And without Luke, Casey could plug into his spot with Pesci. So there are some options. We do have an abundance of riches on the blue line, as we've talked about. It's a great luxury to have. Side note to that, a lot of people have been kind of bashing Fitz, I've seen in the past week or so, about the Kovacevic contract. I can never bash Fitz for that. I love Johnny Kovacevic, number one. But to get him locked up at that deal, $4 million a year with the cap going up, Johnny Kovacevic at $4 million is a great deal. And with injuries and things, you want a ton of defensemen ready to go. To go deep, you need to have defensive depth. Everyone likes to use hindsight and be like, oh, if we had Kovacevic's money, we have all these defensemen, we don't need them. I mean, that's an easy thing to say, but in the end, Edwards wasn't really on anyone's radar, I would say, at that point last year. Casey was still a little bit more of an unknown, as was Nemitz. They were kind of worried about Nemitz. And so anytime you could shore up your blue line, I'll never bash Fitz for that deal. I think the people that are doing it are kind of foolish, in my opinion. And I do think the blue line that he's built is one of the strongest kind of elements of this New Jersey Devils club. And it's very important in this league to have a great defense, especially if you want to go far in the playoffs. I love our D. I've talked about this for months. Love our goaltending, love our D. Hopefully the big dogs are the big dogs this year and the bottom six produces something. And if all of that comes together, and obviously the massive asterisk on all of this is relative health, I believe it could be an interesting season for us as Devils fans, guys. I really do. But D pairings, with or without Edwards, there is someone ready to take Luke's spot if this continues. And as it stands right now, he's not part of the team. Like I said in a previous video, Sheldon Keefe must continue to coach this team as if what he has here is what he has. And that's it. Luke's not here. He's not part of the team at the moment. Life goes on. Casey or Edwards, I do believe, can fill in admirably in his spot with Pesci. And the D will likely not skip a beat. I love those pairings, love the D. And even if they switch them up a little bit, those six guys, I'll take them in my D core any day. Just trying to Devil Heaven. Legare is a hardworking beast. Hallinan is dedication. I've always liked Hallinan. James, Grit splitting the D and scoring on Sorokin was perfection. What a great play, and what a great second effort. What a great second effort. Oh, my things. Seamus looking steady with no games. Pro Bowl, it might just be Jack at this point if the contract holdout gets extremely bad. It totally could be. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't know how, at this point, I have to believe that I'm leaning towards they're asking for too much, but who knows? Fitz could be trying to lowball him. Until we know a number or get a confirmed report of what was offered, we'll never know. And it is what it is. Hopefully it gets solved sooner than later. But if it doesn't, the team will continue. James Malik looked pretty solid in net. He wears a second set of mittens. The weirder the goalie, the better. M. Sharp. Is that H supposed to be in there? Is that Carbonneau? Like Guy Carbonneau? Or is that H change it? Because Guy Carbonneau has no H, if I'm not mistaken. Justin, what up, Ace? In your opinion, and please explain, what do you think is the price Fitz offered and Luke wanted? Apparently, they are so far off. What's your opinion when this works out? How long? It may never work out. I'm tired of talking about this, but I could see maybe Fitz trying to stand firm on, I can't see him offering anything less than 8. And maybe his camp wants 10. And that's why I said, and I did a whole video about this. I'm so tired of talking about this crap. And everyone keeps talking about it. And, you have to talk about it somewhat. But, I'm just so exhausted by it. I think the fair number for both sides is around $9 million, but we'll never know. But there was some people speculating Fitz was trying to fit him under the cap and offer him $6 million. I don't think Fitz is that crazy, guys. I mean, come on. Offer the kid $6 million is a slap in the face. Devil having a lot of competition this year, very few spots. Completely agree. What's the status with the chance Lenny Haminaho injuries? They were both on the ice today. Seems like a good sign. I'm hoping both of them play on Sunday. There's 2 games going on, split squad scrimmage. I hate those things because I like to be able to watch them both. One team on Sunday afternoon will be playing at home against the Capitals, and the other team will be playing on the road in a neutral site game in Quebec against the Senators. And I do believe there's no coverage for that one. So that will kind of be like a follow along. And I think Amanda Stein will be traveling with the road team. So the only type of coverage I think we're going to get for that team is going to be whatever she's posting. Safe and effective, tempering expectations on Gritsuk, but I'm hoping and praying, as we all are. As we all are. Jason, no, I just want the Devils at this point to get out of the preseason injury-free. Yeah. Definitely a necessity. We cannot afford to be dinged up before the season even starts. Nico is king. Glendening showed out this preseason. Fits to us to at least consider giving him a full contract. Oh, I'm pretty sure they're talking about it daily. Could he be a key to the bottom 6? Pro Bowl says if Luke is asking for $10 million, then trade him. It's interesting. Is that a hard line? $10 million is a lot, in my opinion. I think the issue here is they know that the Devils want all 3 Hughes, but it's like but they also want that to happen. So you can't use that as like an advantage to you to extort the team for the most money possible to have you and both of your brothers play here. Like, to me, it is quite the opposite. Like, you want to come here, we want you here, but you got to give somewhat of a team friendly. You cannot ask for max money across the board. Florida still has a ton of talent down the middle. And people are speculating about are they going to trade for Crosby and stuff like that? Pretty funny. Does that Panthers injuries open up the East? It definitely makes it a little bit easier. I'm not going to say like, oh, the Panthers are done now. Like, no way. They're far from done. They'll still be competing, but they're definitely weaker. Lobsty, we played pretty great. The thing I don't get is that the Islanders pulled the goalie at 4:35 left in the game. At that point, Lobsty, they were down 2. Patrick Waugh has been known to be pretty aggressive with that. They were down 2. It's a preseason game. He said, screw it. Got the extra attacker on, and they scored. But he is known to pull the goalie pretty early, I believe. SST, obviously an extremist, says if Luke's asking for $8 million, then trade him. Like, that's just complete ridiculous. Yeah, and then there's James C. Another year, another SST. That's crazy. Completely crazy. Devil Heaven, tonight we were a lot more inferior than the Islanders and honestly outplayed the alien Butchie and those scumbags on the island. Knowles was getting pizza late as usual, chat, but Gritty was an absolute beast on the ice today. Awesome breakaway goal. Some great goals. Was it Legare? I almost said his name wrong. Awesome game. Yeah. Great single-handed effort by Legare, beating 2 guys on the play. Faye, it does suck about Barkov, and I saw something saying he might be out the entire season. I do wish him the best of luck in the healing process. Oh, man, Bobby says Kaprizov is going to the Panthers. That would be wild. I mean, listen, you already know what time it is. Like, if he's out for the season, they're putting him on LTIR, and they're going to bring in some guys. You already know that. They're not going to sit idle. Bill Zito's a legend. Pro Bowl. John Fay, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of talent, but if he wants that much money, then trade him. NJ needs the money for potential top 6 winger and extensions for Nico and other players. A lot of guys need to get paid after this year. Yeah, $10 million does not leave a good taste in my mouth. It really doesn't. Jay Snow says McTavish for Luke. A lot of people have been talking about this. The issue there, Snow, is that McTavish probably wants crazy money too. So, you know, you're dealing a defenseman looking to get paid crazy money for a forward looking for it. And while I would say, I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, at this very moment in time, I would probably say McTavish helps the team more than Luke. That might be a hot take, but I don't think it is. I think this team, with all the defensemen we have, I think McTavish overall helps the team more than Luke. And so again, I can't see them even remotely entertaining trading him. And in this particular instance, I think McTavish is going to want a lot of money too. But all things equal, this exact team at this moment in time, McTavish I believe helps this team more than Luke does. A lot of you will agree with me and some of you will not, but Nico is king. East is wide open until the Penguins get off to a slow start and Bill Zito. Yeah, trade for Crosby. I just mentioned something about that before. McTavish would sign for less than Luke. I'd imagine he would, but it still is not going to be cheap, I don't think. Pro Bowl, I think Luke would be a great chip to trade for Jay Robertson, but I don't know. Robertson, another guy that's going to want a lot of money. We'll see how that all ends up. Bobby Malik needs to fix his helmet. He needs a sick paint job. I'm sure he's working on it. I did talk to him, I think, about that either before or after the interview. And I think he said he was working on it for Utica, where he's expected to play this season. I'm going to try to get there to check him out in some games for sure. Jay Snow, I don't know how he wore gloves underneath. He had to be sweating. I'm sure he was. Josh, what's up, Ace? On the train back home from UBS. Such a great game. Plenty of Devils fans around. Nice. Josh, what were your overall thoughts on the arena? I've only been there once. Shout out to my boy Pat, who brought me to the game where Ovechkin broke the goals record last year. My first and only time at UBS, I was very impressed. If I'm being honest, I would say UBS is much nicer than Prudential Center. Obviously, it's brand new, and the Prudential Center is now 18 years old. But I just thought all the things they had, the bars, the different food options, I really did like UBS. They have a bunch of stuff outside. I don't know how early you got there or if you kind of messed around outside at all, but there is a ton of really cool things at UBS. Pro Bowl says the Hughes brothers can play together in the Olympics at some point, or at this point. Devil Heaven Ace, what PTOs might make the team depth, etc. trades? I would say Glenn Dennings probably would be the favorite amongst those guys. Legare, I think's got a shot. We'll see. We can't forget about Haminaho and LaChance. There's other guys that have been kind of out of sight, out of mind, but there's some competition here for some of these bottom 6 spots. Michael S. Edwards is -2 tonight. While he came back to earth a little, he's still a very solid prospect. Yeah, it's only one game. I still think Edwards is going to be great, and I still think there is a chance that we still see him in the opening night lineup. Still several preseason games to go. Never know how it's going to play out. We'll keep an eye on this. Maybe it will be Casey, but between the two of them, I'm not too worried about the Luke holdout going into the regular season. Woodson, Luke is still unsigned and benched. Things are looking up. Terrible. Devil Heaven says, honestly, Chalowski is a nice stay-at-home depth for sure. Great contract. Yeah, again, Fitz likes his vets. He likes a deep blue line, and I have to give him the credit there. The blue line is pretty damn good. The depth is crazy. The depth is absolutely crazy that now, if we have some injuries on the back end, we're not going to be decimated. We have Casey, we have Edwards, we have Chalowski. I'm trying to think who else is kind of in that next grouping. There's one or two other guys I'm forgetting about, but slightly insulated now. One injury is not going to sink the whole ship, and that's while Kovacevic is out. Once he comes back, you're talking about having guys like Casey and Edwards waiting in the wings with a guy like Salayev on the horizon for next season. The blue line is stacked, kids. Robbie's bench boss, do we think Brisson will drag this out into October? It's certainly possible. I mean, what is October in 5 days? I mean, at this point, I'm almost expecting it to go into the regular season. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Any news on Lukinator? There is no news. Ace knows his French names. Well, yeah, like guys that have been out there forever. Carbonneau is easy, Lemieux. I'm trying to think of other ones that come to mind. Hockey fans can pronounce lots of tough names. Yeah, well, over the years, you kind of learn. But there's some, when you first see them, you're like, what is this? And then you got to kind of listen to the people on TV or radio do it a couple times before you could get it. Woodson says, Fitz actually being a GM and not panic buying. You guys love the drama. It is a soap opera. This has become the summer soap opera for the New Jersey Devils. Woodson says, not spending $40+ million for 3 players that haven't won one cup. I mean, fair point, but they are very young. And I do think the 3 of them on one team would would certainly position you to be a contender, assuming that the roster around them is decent. But if they all want max money, that is going to hurt the rest of the lineup. Like Fitz says, you got to leave some meat on that bone. You got to leave meat on the bone so that the best possible team can be built. Devil Heaven, Edwards looking sick already. Love it. Wolverines in the pipeline. Seamus, Luke, Edwards. Yeah. And Bordelot, another Michigan Wolverine. We got a lot of Wolverines in the system. Snow says, I'm not even that crazy about three brothers playing together. At that point, what does our forward group look like? Well, I mean, I'd imagine the big guns are still here. You know, and who knows, some other, you know, swapped around parts in the bottom six, but that certainly would take up a lot of the cap space, obviously, the three of them. Justin, let's be honest, Ace, for a GM saying he's going to make Luke signing his first priority and not making any ground with him or his agent is not a little concerning, but very. Do you agree with that? I talked about this in the video. I did a video kind of about the newest news that had come out about this, and the reality is I understand why everyone points to that, but I do think Fitz tried. Like, everyone likes to bash the guy, and listen, I bash him when I think he deserves to be bashed, which honestly is somewhat often, I would say. But in this situation, there's nothing he's going up against a super agent, a power agent, guys. It'd be like if someone, you know, just to use a lack of I'll just use a stupid example. If someone came in here and said, I want to give you, I'm just going to use fake numbers, and said, I want to give you $2,000 for this glove and blocker. And I was like, I'm not selling the glove and blocker for less than $10,000. And they're like, okay, the highest I could do is 6. And I'm like, no, 10. And they're like 6. And I'm like 10. Where do you go? If both sides get to a point where they're like, we're not budging anymore, what do you do? Luke's team may have been like 10.25. That's it. Best and final. And Fitz is like, haha, 8.75. And they're like, no, 10.25. Once you get to a point where no one's willing to budge, what do you do? So it's hard to blame Fitz unless you want Fitz to cave and sign a deal for $10 million or something like that, which is kind of the speculation, again, based on nothing. But would you be happier, Justin, if the deal gets announced tomorrow and Luke signed for 8 times 10? I mean, I certainly wouldn't be thrilled with it. And who knows? Like I said, we don't know what's going on, but I think that's kind of what happened. They're just at a point where neither side is budging and they're far apart. Snow says Luke for Tuck. Oh, man. I love Tuck. Absolutely love Tuck. Chris, Grits looking like he's going to do some damage. Yep. Woodson, Ace finally coming around and realizing we need offense. Finally coming around. I've talked to Woodson. I've wanted offense forever, my guy. What do you want from me? I mean, I've wanted offense forever. Forever, ever. And I've said I would consider trading anyone for the right pieces coming back. But I also said for a while, you have to realize what it seems like is the plan of the team. And for quite some time, it certainly seemed like the plan was to get all 3 Hughes brothers, which at this very moment, it still very well could be. So talking about trading guys, you know, in that equation just doesn't make sense. Woodson, we have a pipeline of D-men. Luke is expendable. True to some extent. Devil Heaven, Carolina, honestly more deadly depth than Cats long-term. Where's James C? Can't wait to see the new studio when it's all set up, Ace. Yeah, I'm going to just buckle down one day and get it done. It's a thorn in my side. I don't know if anyone's interested, but I've been going through just tons of random stuff, like signed items and just memorabilia and all kinds of random shit. I was thinking about making a video of just like showing a bunch of it, but I don't know if anyone cares about that. It could be boring or not. I don't know. McTavish on his projection is 6 years, $7 million. Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty nice for the Devils to have. Knowles, who's psyched for opening night against the Panthers? Is it here yet? Counting down the days. Yeah, we still got some time starting off on the road. Jay Snow, I think the injuries to LeChance and Haminaho really hurt their chances to make the team out of camp, obviously. And that's why that's the most unfortunate part about it. It does suck. I thought LeChance probably had a better chance just because the type of player he is and what I think he could do. But I'm hoping if he starts in Utica, I'm hoping he makes some noise and finds his way on this roster sooner than later. SST, Glendenning will be offered a 2-way contract just like LeBanc, and someone will sign him on a better deal. It's very possible. Robbie's bench boss. We don't have the cap for McTavish, but I'd be okay dealing Casey plus pick something else for him. Yeah, these are all options a lot of us have talked about. We do have a glut of defensemen. Some of them can be traded towards forward help. Will it happen or not? Find out on the next episode of As the New Jersey Devils World Turns. Knowles, I also need to make a comment about the kid from Czechoslovakia, Jakub Malik. He was absolutely great relieving Allen in the net. Still mad about the one goal the Islanders got because of the broken stick. Yeah, it sucked. I thought he was going to have a perfect night. He was a couple minutes away from not allowing anything. Unfortunately, he got beat on that one. And it is what it is. But Malik, very exciting prospect. Nico is king. Last year's playoffs were the absolute worst case scenario for our defense, all the injuries, and they still relatively held their own grade to have depth. Yeah. It seems like we're cursed with the injuries. I want as many defensemen in the wings as possible. But I feel like now we have so many, we can trade one. Devil Heaven, love to get to the big house for a college game. I actually, I had a couple friends that went to Michigan when I was in college, and I was able to go to the big house to check out a football game. They beat Ball State. Wasn't like an exciting conference game or anything, but they beat Ball State, and this was back, I think, when Chad Henne was the quarterback. They were pretty good for most of the years I was in college. Michigan was pretty damn good. And I did go to a hockey game there as well. I believe the arena was called Yost, maybe? I did make it to a hockey game there. Yeah, Michigan sports is big time. Michael S., hit that like for the Grits goal tonight. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Hit the like. Jason, we're still not strong down the middle and can use a top six winger. Absolutely. No lineup is perfect, but some of these guys are looking like they can make some noise. Devil Heaven, my uncle went to college with Kenny Dryden. That's amazing. M. Sharp, first time going to opening night. Opening night's always fun. I used to go every year. Then I missed a few years, like, I don't know, years ago. But I've been to most of them probably in the past 20 or so years. Travelin says, Luke determines where the other two end up. It could be. This is the linchpin, as I'd like to call it. The linchpin to getting all three Hughes or not. Tone Sports, I'm a Devils fan from Queens. Literally live 10 minutes away from UBS. Just got home and will say is a dope arena. They did it right building that place. Go Devils. Gritsuk might actually be that dude. Yeah, I just mentioned, I don't know when you jumped on here, Tones, but I went to the game with my buddy who's an Islander fan last year when I saw Ovechkin break the goals record. It was my first time ever at UBS. Complete pain in the ass to get to, but beautiful facility. They have a ton of stuff outside. I thought the concessions were amazing. All different kinds of really good food. Really nice. They had that one nice bar where it's kind of open air. I liked it a lot. UBS definitely is class. And I thought about going to this game tonight, but the thought of going there and coming back was just excruciatingly painful, and I couldn't get myself to do it for a preseason game. But I might have to just bite the bullet and do it for the regular season. We'll see. M. Sharp, gamble for both sides to drag out negotiations into a season. At this point, I think it's more of a gamble for Luke. We have potentially two guys that could fill the spot. I don't know. M. Sharp says Luke can become expendable or desperately needed. Robbie's bench boss. It kind of sucks that in order to keep Luke, we need to sign him to number 1 D money to ultimately attract the true number 1 in Quinn to come to New Jersey. Yeah, we've talked about this as well. It's like, listen, you want to be power play one guy, you want to be the big dog, but it's like, okay, well, when your brother comes here, you're not going to be that guy anymore. So I have to pay you today on an 8-year deal to be the top dog, and then in 2 years from now, pay your brother to be the top dog. The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. Where is James C. says, we care, Ace? I don't remember. Oh, about the studio? Maybe I'll do it. I mean, I know some of you will like it, so maybe I will do a quick little one at some point soon. While I'm doing it, I'll just kind of pull shit out and do a quick little showcase. Devil Heaven Studios coming together, brother. It's kind of hit a stalling point because I am OCD a little bit, and I've been looking through tons of stuff and at tons of stuff. And like I mentioned before, I thought about doing the stick wall or like tons of equipment. Do I want to keep the case here and fill it up with kind of similar stuff that I had before? I have the signed photos and a bunch of stuff for the wall. So I'm eventually just going to do it and hope I like the way it comes out because I don't want to redo it. Robbie's bench boss, Luke has the potential to reach that on his own one day, maybe, but he'll be blocked by his established brother. And I think he'd be fine with that. If they truly want to play together, it is what it is. Cisco Kid, Ace, your studio looks like a going out of business sale. Let's get that done. It will be done before, I have about 2 weeks now or so, maybe less than 2 weeks from the regular season opener. It will be done before the regular season opener. And hopefully sooner. Yo, Holmes, yo, Ace, is it me or is Lego Ray exactly the type of player we're looking for the bottom six? No, it's not just you. I think it is. A guy with scoring ability who has a little nasty streak, will hit guys, energy. I think he might be the prototypical bottom six guy that you want. I don't know when you jumped on here. I talked about that a little bit earlier. Jay Snow, need Marty to teach his goalies how to handle the puck. I think for a lot of these guys, it's either you kind of have it or you don't. Obviously, working with a guy like Marty would be, I'd imagine, amazing for any of these kids. But in the end, coaching only gets you so far. Like Marty was just so damn good at it. It's something he had practiced from a younger age. Marty, the best puck handling goalie of all time, just completely filthy, acting like a third defenseman out there, just snapping it up ice right on guys' sticks, firing it off the glass, sometimes just flipping it up the middle. I mean, Marty was just an absolute magician, and that's why they invented the trapezoid. That's how you know how dominant he was. They literally invented a rule and a trapezoid to neutralize his puck handling powers. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Justin, we will see with Luke. It's more devastating to Luke and the Devils for him not skating and playing with a team right now. Seems like a deal won't get done, at least until the regular season. Horrible. Maria says, fire the agent. SST, Luke's holdout and prospect of him not signed gives me hope for the season. Not going to lie. Of course. Of course that's how you feel, SST. We know how you are. Devil Heaven 77, outdoor game at the big house, the best. That would probably be awesome, and I'd imagine very cold. Luke, Ace, you doing call-ins tonight? No, I gotta. They're going to start up again soon. I'm trying to weave the software into this thing so I don't have to do the whole speaker thing, but very soon it will be back. It'll be back on the agenda, Luke. Frank, been to the Big House, Tuscaloosa, Roll Tide, Penn State, Rutgers, LOL, and Army. Believe it or not, had the best time at Mish Stadium, Army. I've seen a game there, and I've seen one at Navy too. I always like going to those schools to see a football game. Matt says, I haven't missed an opening night in 23 years. Very nice. Knowles, got to check out UBS one day. Yeah, you do. It's a really nice building. Robbie's bench boss. I believe it's the marketing department's plan for better or worse, all in on it for the money. Maybe. Devil Heaven, Ace, what do you watch Devils games on, cable company, etc.? Last year, I was watching it on one of the streaming services, and often I'd be in the chat for these post games during the game where some of you guys would be talking during the game. It was delayed. And a lot of times I'd be in the chat talking to you guys and someone would be like, goal. And I'm like, damn it. It seemed like it was 20 or 30 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds behind. And I was like, I need to be, hold on one second. I need to be live. So I am watching it on MSG on Fios now, which I believe is the most kind of real-time way you could do it. The streaming services were just too far behind. Snow, Dougie is and will be the top dog on D until Quinn comes. Interesting. At the moment, I think you're right. And obviously with Luke not here, it's 100% accurate. Devil Heaven Ace, what's the oldest piece you have in your Devil history? Oh, I have stuff from the very beginning. You know, I don't put as much of an emphasis on that because obviously I wasn't a fan, so I'm not as personally connected or attached to it. But I have stuff from the first season and like, you know, all the, you know, first game stuff and programs and tickets and stuff of that nature. So the oldest piece is, you know, 40 something years old, 43 years old. I have stuff, yeah, from the very beginning. Faye, all right, enough about Luke. As much as we want to keep talking about it, let's talk about something more important. The hell we will be brought upon the first 5 games of our regular season. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Let's nothing is easy for me to pull up on here. This is where I wish I could be like, producer Billy, pull up that come on, man. Just pull this up real nice. The October schedule for the Devils, obviously, they got no help from the schedule makers whatsoever. It is going to be rough sledding, but I think you rather have the team know that they're getting thrust into the fire and have to produce. But we start October 9th in Carolina, House of Horrors, in a oh man. Hold on one second. In Carolina, at Tampa, at Columbus, 3 games on the road against 2 teams that have been very good for a while. In Columbus, I feel like I can't count them out per se. They made quite a run last year. And the Devils, if you look back at them backing into the playoffs, there was a home and home with Columbus, and I forget the date, but the Devils got completely dominated in Columbus in the 3rd period, and Jake Allen stood on his head, and then the Devils beat them at home. That very well could have been the difference between the Devils making the playoffs and not when it's all said and done. But what did I do? I took this down. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Yeah, so Carolina, Tampa, Columbus, and then home against the Cup finalists, the back-to-back Cup champs, Florida, and the Edmonton Oilers, the Cup runners-up, the following game. I mean, what a 5-game stretch, right? I mean, and then you could even say, you know, this is the whole month. Like, yeah, you look at it and you're like, oh, the Sharks, and we struggle against bottom feeders. October, baby. It's going to be a big month. It is a big month. How do they respond? And hopefully they come out on fire. Devil Heaven says, what's everyone drinking tonight? Pabst PBR. Maria says, go Dogs. Luke, credit to Fitz for the defense and Fred and goalie's boost face. Effed up the cap, and Palat is hiking this team. Who sits when Noesen is healthy? Grits or Cotter? Look at it. Won't be Palat. I don't think it'll be Grits or Cotter either. We'll see. I think that's a tough one. I mean, wow. Grits would be it would kill me to see either one of them come out. You guys know I love Cotter as well. But Gritsuk is looking like the real deal. Jay Snow, if Glendening gets the 4C spot, who comes out of the lineup when Noesen comes back? These are all very good questions. Does someone get moved? Is someone dealt? Luke says they need more cap space and only Glass and Mercer don't have protection. Michael Fubo was bad with the delay. DirecTV, not so much. I can't do the streaming anymore. I have Fios. And for a while, it seemed like cutting the cable, cutting the cord was the move. But now with all these damn apps and things, the cost and headaches, I think you're better off having regular cable. For me, it is. I don't want to sit here and have to switch between 900 things. Like, I like convenience, and obviously in terms of the Devils, I like real time. The delays are killer. Devil Heaven says, I have Spectrum, good service, looking to cut the cable. Luke, I think Glass might get dealt, and they go with Mercer, 3C, and Glendening, Lamico, others, 4C. I mean, that would be kind of shocking to me as well. But at this point, they're going to have to figure something out for a ton of reasons. Obviously, if Luke is signed to make that cap space, when Noesen comes back for a spot, I mean, there's kind of a lot going on that's kind of looming in the distance. Yeah, Mercer said he doesn't want to play center. I would prefer to keep him on wing. Jason says, I don't love Mercer at center. Our options suck. Ethan, if the Devils win the cup this year, are you getting oiled up? What the hell does that mean? If the Devils won the cup, I don't even know, guys. I can't even let my brain get there. It would be a wild, wild time. Wild, wild time. I think Noesen's going to be out a while. Why do you think that? They are always very vague with the injuries, and so you never know. Robbie's bench boss, no Barkov and Kachuk is a silver lining for a home opener, I guess. Hate to hear that news for Sasha in Olympic year. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate injury for their fans, but, they went back-to-back. I'm not going to shed a tear for them. 3 cup finals in a row. I can't imagine how good it would feel to go to 3 cup finals in a row. I do know how it feels for your team to go to 3 cup finals in 4 years. The Devils went to the finals in 2000 and won it. They went to in 2001 and lost to the Avs. Did not make it in 2002, and then won it all again in 2003. So 3 finals appearances and 2 cups in 4 years. Great little stretch for your New Jersey Devils, and probably before some of you guys were born, and definitely way before a lot of you were fans. Matt, if we go 6-5 or better in October, I'd be happy. A very tough stretch to start the season. Jay Snow, if the Devils win a cup, Ace said he'd get a Devils tattoo on his ass. Did I say that? I can't confirm or deny. It sounds like something I may have said. Faye, 4 of the 5 teams are playoff caliber teams. That's what we should be more worried about, is how we play against them in case we meet them in the playoffs. 3 of the 4 since Oilers aren't in our conference. We need points, and we need points early. M. Sharp, good luck with that. I'm torn on which way to go. VPN are sucking up to Hulu, ESPN+. SST says, believe it or not, but this is the season the Devils are going to win 4 in a row. Yeah, our New Jersey Devils have not won 4 games in a row since January of 2023. We are a few months away from a 3-year drought of not winning 4 in a row. Arc Rampage, our home opener isn't until the 16th. That's rough. Yes, it is. Brian J., what's going on? Let's go Devils. October 9th, hopefully a bloodbath. Hopefully it is a bloodbath in Carolina. Would love to see the boys respond. Can we get just a little redemption in a regular season game where our season ended so tragically in April? Terrible. Luke says, kills me too, but who sits? Won't be a vet. Going to be Grits or Cotter. Oof. Louis says they just signed Glass. Trading him makes no sense. I know, but at some point, someone's going to have to get traded. I don't think it'll be Glass either, but you never know. Luke says they almost adding signed Glass and brought in 2 centers on PTOs. Yeah, Frank, I don't know what that is either. Devil Heaven Spectre is kind of a monopoly here. Love to have Verizon, more competition. Snow says, Luke, who if Glendening gets a contract, Fitz will have signed Luke. Yo Holmes says, has anyone ever said oiled up before the stream? I don't think I'd have. Luke, I hate Mercer at center almost as much as he does. Yeah, I think we see a world where if he could stick in the top 6, that he could, if he could perform there, they might say, we don't want to mess with it. we'll figure out the center depth without moving him to center. Noesen had groin surgery. Those could be tricky. Devil Heaven, Hey Holmes, Butter and Sugar, and Silver King for fall corn. Amazing, sweet as... I do like corn. I do like me some corn on the cob. I'm not going to lie. Especially when it's nice and sweet and you throw the butter on there and you sprinkle a little salt. It's a great New Jersey summer barbecue situation, I think. The old corn on the cob. Jason, no, I can't stand Aho. I'd love for someone to just knock him out. Yeah, Aho, little bum. SST says, when Luke gets dealt later this season, I'll be happy to call in. Oh, boy. So you think they're going to sign him and then trade him, SST? Or you think they just trade him before that? I'm curious. Or he's held up, or in your world, he's held out for months and months, and then they eventually trade him. Luke says, Dadanov, Nico, Bratmeyer, Nico, Mercer, Palat, Glass, Brown, Cotter, 4C Grit. Who sits for Noesen? It's tough. It is tough. I mean, you would have to think it would be. Man, would they do Grits like that? I guess I think it just depends largely on how the guys look and how they play when Noesen's ready to come back. I would just say whoever seems like the weakest link will be the one that gets yanked. Ethan says, if we win the cup, you need to buy all the fans club seats with unlimited food. How does that work, Ethan? If we win the cup, I have to buy club seats? I don't know how that works. Face says, no backing out, SST. If it happens, you will be calling in, but chances are it may not happen. I can't see it happening. And if it does, then I would say the Devils' plans went completely sideways because I don't think that's what they were planning for whatsoever. Devil Heaven, baby Devils are going to be sick this year. Yeah, I'd expect the Comets, the AHL club, to be pretty decent because I do think they're going to have maybe even a handful of guys that are pretty close to NHL ready on the roster. So I think there is a chance we do see a pretty good season out of the Utica Comets. Luke says, wasn't a full surgery procedure. He'll be back in mid-October. That's very interesting. That's pretty soon. Pretty soon. Veen, as much as I want Gritsuk to become the next Bore, I have a feeling it's just a small preseason facade. Well, I mean, I don't know if anyone's talking about, Pavel Bore. I mean, that would be phenomenal, right? I mean, God, a perennial all-star and just an absolute lethal offensive player. But I do think there's plenty of, whatever you want to call it. He could be a great player for this team without being Pavel Bore, let's just say. That's a pretty lofty expectation, in my opinion. I'm still hoping for like a 2020 out of him. A 2020 season, a 25-15. 40 points. If he plays in the top 6, I would expect way more from him. And if he gets a lot of power play 2 time or even somehow sees power play 1 time, I would expect more. But in a bottom 6 role to start the season, probably with maybe some power play 2 time and then maybe some top 6 time. I still think that, that 40 points could be the realistic expectation for him with maybe an upside of more. If he really is in the top 6 for a while and gets a lot of power play time, who knows? Maybe he really pops off and just blows everyone's expectations out of the water. But I'd be happy with 2020, 25-15, whatever it is. 40 points at him in his rookie season, I'd be happy. Michael says, if Devils won the cup, I got everyone with the $1 Gen Pop shooters the next home opener. Very nice. Ethan says, imagine if Luke is watching the stream. Also, do you think Jack talks to Luke about the contract every day? No. Luke is definitely not watching the stream, and I don't think they talk about the contract every day. I'm sure they talk about it, but probably not every day. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm unclear if they still live together. Yo, Holmes, Utica should be a whole heck of a lot better. Last season was a doozy. Yeah, they got off to a horrible start last year. Luke, weakest link is Palat. We all know it. They should sit him until he agrees to be traded. That would certainly be some hardball tactics. I don't know. I think the danger of doing stuff like that is that other players kind of get wind of it, and I don't think that would really be the best look for the team in terms of endearing themselves to potential free agents down the line or trading for guys, that may have to waive a no trade or something to come to your team. I do think that would kind of put not necessarily a stink on the team, but that's definitely not player friendly, and a lot of players would not take kindly to it. And so I understand what you're saying, Luke, in that regard, but I do think the inherent risk or kind of impression that would give other players, I think, would probably not be worth it. And who knows, maybe with Brown, we might see a resurgence of Palat. Maybe Palat and Brown can become a little productive tandem in that bottom six. We would love to see that. Obviously, the $6 million is an overpayment, but you would love to see him be a part of bottom six turnaround for this team. Ethan says, I got homecoming tomorrow, so pre-gaming. Homecoming for what, Ethan? Noel says, are the Utica Comets coming to Trenton? No. So the team going to Trenton is an ECHL team, which is a pretty big difference from AHL in terms of the talent level. And I think people have speculated that maybe the Devils would have them be their ECHL affiliate again, but I haven't heard too much about that since it was announced that team was moving to Trenton a few weeks ago. Double Heaven, does anyone remember the Clint Malarchuk incident growing up? Yeah, of course. The skate in the throat with the blood. Definitely one of the most gruesome things that ever happened in a hockey game. If you haven't seen it, look it up. You did butcher his spelling a little bit. But Daniel, are you a season ticket holder? How many games do you try to make? I'm not a season ticket holder. I was years ago for a few years. And then I just thought it wasn't worth it for a variety of reasons. And getting rid of tickets for games I couldn't go to proved to be problematic. And it was all a pain in the ass. And so I decided for me personally, it was just more advantageous to buy tickets to the games that I wanted to go to. Typically, I would say in a normal season, I probably make it to about 12 to 15 regular season games. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but usually it's somewhere in that 12 to 15 range of the 41. It is just a big time commitment, and it's a whole lot goes into it. But I obviously love going to games. There's nothing like it. Snow, Palat is not the weakest link. He's actually a great player, just not on a good contract. Luke, Hallen and Dawes, Laguerre all have to clear to make it to Utica. Sadly, I don't see all three clearing. Possibly all could be claimed. I didn't realize they were Hallen's on a one-way too. Yo, Holmes, calling the seats Gen Pop it is Gen Pop, dude. I haven't been in Gen Pop in a while, and I did it for the Ranger game, and then I quickly got a reminder as to why I was on such a streak of not being in Gen Pop. I can't do it. I can't go back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not bougie with anything in life, but this is one thing that I have to might be a little bougie with. And to clarify, for those that were talking smack, I'm not like in some box or something. Like, you're sitting in the crowd with the people. I don't like sitting in suites or boxes either, where you're kind of like, secluded. I don't like that at all. I like being in the seats. But in terms of in between periods, when I want to stuff my face and go to the bathroom, I don't want to be in Gen Pop fighting people, waiting in lines, being in tight spaces. I don't like any of that. And for that reason, for me, club seats are bust. I'm just too old to be out there in Gen Pop. Michael, Pilates looks solid with Brown so far. They can be a very effective third, fourth line this year. I agree. Let's get this bottom six turnaround going. Knowles, it's a very dirty move to do to Palat. Just be respectful like gentlemen. It's New Jersey, not Ragville. Louis says, Drury burns bridges all the time, but it's the Rags so they get away with it. Players will still be stupid enough to go there. I mean, New York City is New York City, right? There's always going to be people blinded by the lights of Broadway that want to live in the city and do that whole thing. Luke says, disagree, Snow. Palat's analytics are terrible. I agree if he made $3 million and they played him on the third line, he wouldn't be the worst, but we live in reality. L, where do you think Gritsuk should be placed in the roster? I think he should start in the bottom 6 to just get comfortable with regular season games and see how he looks. And if he continues to kind of develop and look like the guy we're all hoping, then you slot him up accordingly. I think by some point this season, I would not be shocked if you see him with the big dogs and you see a line of Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and Gritsuk. And that could be lethal. Could absolutely be lethal. Luke says, I agree, Ace, but he got his money and hasn't produced. Sit him. SST, are there some beautiful American girls in this chat who would marry me so I could come to the States to chase the American dream? It's an interesting one. Ethan, homecoming for college. I go to Montclair, so currently eating Ruts Hut and a good cold beer and watching the best Devil streamer. I appreciate that, Ethan. Wait, Ruts Hut is open now? I thought they closed early. Post-COVID, hold on. Oh, they closed at 11. Are you there? Are you watching this live at Ruts Hut, Ethan? Man, I want a ripper right now. I want a ripper right now with chili, Ethan. Chili and cheese. Give me a ripper with chili and cheese. I like their burgers, too. Devil Heaven, I miss AHL. We had Dusters, Whales, Senators, Devils. Yo, Holmes, I always feel so far away in the suites. Club seats. Cool. Yeah, I have to be in the regular crowd. I don't want to be in a... Oh, nice, Ethan. Did you get a ripper? Love the ripper. Man, Ruts Hut is just such a legendary location. Not far from the old arena. Luke, I like grits with Cotter on the 4th line to start. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. John Fay, no offense, but no one in this chat or possibly on this planet would want to marry USST. Devil Heaven, hey Ace, favorite 3 hockey movies of all time? Ooh. In no particular order, one of the Mighty Ducks, probably D1, Mighty Ducks, Slapshot, and the third one, I'd have to think. Even though it wasn't like a great movie, I really did enjoy Goon. It's like, it's not a great movie at all, but it's still great. It's just one of those movies that it's like not a great movie, but it's still great. Oh, Strange Brew is a good one too. Jason said, Ace got a private seat somewhere at the Rock. No, definitely not. I'm out there. I'm out there in the public. Frank, speaking of gruesome neck injuries, what do you think of Matt Petgrave signing in the ECHL? Apologies if you already That's the guy that kicked the guy? Is that who that was? I have to reserve comment on this. I have to go back and review the incident. I can't remember the exact instances, but if it's the guy I'm thinking of, it was pretty grotesque. Obviously, I don't think he meant to like do the damage he did, but that was pretty messed up. I have to look into that a little bit more. Luke, Hallinan is out of options, same as Dawes and Legare. I think Dawes has the best chance to clear. His numbers aren't great, and Ingram just cleared. Knowles, do you buy those sweet tickets before the game starts? Apparently, you can't upgrade to those seats as a season ticket holder. Got to look into that. I agree on the leave me alone in between periods. Technically, they're not suites that I go to. They're clubs. The suites are technically like enclosed-ish kind of things, like the old boxes that people remember back in the day. I like the club seats where you're sitting in regular seats, but you have access to all the food and amenities at your disposal. And yeah, I don't have seasons, so I just kind of get the games I want to go to. Yo, Holmes, Ruts Hut and Hot Grill. Ruts Hut, Jay Snow, is a New Jersey institution. Is an institution. Oh, I forgot about Miracle too. Yeah, I mean, wow. Top 3 would be hard, but but great hockey movies. Mystery Alaska is another one someone threw out there. Obviously, Miracle, the Mighty Ducks, Slapshot. I mean, there's Wow. Strange Brew, yeah. Devil Heaven, what does a skybox cost at Pro? So if you're talking about the suites, I don't know. I haven't looked into it in a while, but they're very expensive. I want to say the last time I checked, it was like, I don't know. They're thousands of dollars per game. I forget. I looked into it for last year. I thought about trying to do like a running with the Devils outing in a box, but it was a lot of money, and like I kind of threw in the towel on it. It was a lot. Like it broke down to quite a bit of money per ticket for in the box, and I just didn't think it made sense, so I kind of let it go. Yeah, Mystery Alaska, underrated hockey movie, Slapshot, Youngblood, Mighty Ducks. I still have to watch Youngblood. I've never. I think I saw like a couple minutes of it years ago, but when I was flipping through the channels. But then I was like, I don't want to watch part of it. I want to go back and watch the whole thing. Knowles, oh man, which Mighty Ducks is when they played in the Olympics, or was it international? Big MD2, Slapshot, Miracle on Ice, and a few more. I think you're referring to Mighty Ducks 2. Luke says, Miracle's a great movie. I just always feel like I'm watching a documentary. Yo, Holmes, suites are boxes. Club is lower, middle, center ice with all-inclusive. Well, there are clubs now that are more on the suite level as well, Yo, Holmes. With the Loft and the Pier Club, or now I think there's like the Verizon Club. Frank Carlo and the Russian Five, great movie. What is that on? Is that about like the guys that defected here? Knowles, oh, so like center, first few rows and such, or in between on the ends for seats, going to keep an eye on certain guys, maybe pay to upgrade. Well, if you have season tickets, just tell them you want access to to one of the clubs that has the food. I hope they get to regular season form soon, because I will say during the preseason so far, the food has not been phenomenal. But it is what it is. Everyone's in preseason form. Anyone got anything else? But if you haven't seen it, I pinned it in the thing. Check out the interview. With Jakob Malik from, I don't know, a little over a month and a half ago. Nice kid. I think he's super talented, and I think he has a future in this league, hopefully with our Devils. Devil Heaven, girlfriend and I went to Lake Placid last year. Priceless. Very cool. Very cool. I've driven through it. I've actually never stopped. Haven't really been in that region too often. I think I passed through it on my way to Montreal a couple of years ago. Yo, Holmes, oh yeah, the Lofts. I forgot about them. I'm a lower level corner guy usually. Luke says, you've never seen Youngblood. Am I that old? If you're older than me, then I feel like I'm old. So if you're older than me, then you're old, my man. John, I will say that Herb Brooks speech will light a fire under any and every team, because it's true. If you're born to be a hockey player, you're born to be in a hockey rink. What a speech. P-Funk, Gritsuk is looking good, Ace. Yeah, yes, he is. He is looking pretty damn good. And what does his future hold? Does he crack the top 6? Where does he end up? I might try to watch Youngblood tonight now, because it's been on my list for a while. I'm trying to figure out what service it's on. It seems like it's on Netflix. Okay, it's on Netflix. Perfect. That's the easy one for me. The OG, one of the OG streaming. All these friggin' Paramount and Prime and Disney and Hulu and this one. What else is there? There's a million. Paramount, Peacock, Hulu. Yeah, it's insane. You need but it is on Netflix, so that'll be an easy one for me to get, and I will probably watch that when I get off of here with you fine folks soon. Luke, preseason ends October 4th, cap compliant October 6th. Oof, we got time. James, Youngblood is a great movie. The main character, Dean Youngblood, reminds me of Jack. He can score very agile, but needs to toughen up. All right, so I will report back on this after I watch. I'm gonna try to watch it tonight, but there's no guarantee that I do watch it. I do get often distracted. I'm behind in recording some videos that I wanted to do, so I might try to do that tonight, but we'll see. Maybe I will just watch Youngblood on Netflix. Slapshot is also on Netflix. Very nice. John Fay, honestly, I would kill to have Herb Brooks as a head coach again. The old Netflix. There's so many things to try to watch and stay on top of nowadays, just with everything. It's like almost overwhelming. Like there's a lot of podcasts I like, but I don't get to listen or watch as much as I want. And then like reading articles and keeping up with all the shit. It is like it is just information overload these days with all the different platforms and technology and things that we have. But I got some exciting things in the works that I'm hoping to bring out sooner than later. Yeah, a lot of exciting things in the works, especially for the old time folks. And I try to do more stuff for the younger, newer fans. I try. It's not as easy as some of the stuff with the old timers. Unfortunately, that's just kind of, it is what it is. But I'm hoping to figure out a way to do some of that stuff too. But for you old timers, I'm gonna have some really nice stuff coming up soon in the not too distant future. And yeah, I got to get this. The looking at these walls are killing me right now. When I look at the screen, absolutely killing me to see the blankness of what's going on here. $46. Oh, you're a little bit older than me, not much older. Putting the foil on. Want some? What are you making? Knowles, Netflix starting phase 1 of the Fort Monmouth construction this year. Going to be awesome. Yeah, I think I saw some renderings and article about it. Netflix is making a freaking compound down there, and they're going to be filming a lot of stuff in New Jersey. Ethan, predicting right now, our captain, our Lord Nico Hischier, 100+ point season incoming. That is a scorching hot take. 100 points, man. I hope you're right, Ethan, but I think you might be drunk at Ruts Hut. 100 points for Nico. I would love to see it. I mean, that'd be crazy. That might be the hottest take. Knowles, don't judge him. I think he's a little drunk at a New Jersey landmark right now. John faces bold prediction, but hopefully it's true. Ethan, Josh, unfortunate for Barkov, but Nico has a huge opening for sure. For sure. Can he finally claim a Selke? Oh, see, I haven't seen it in years. I'm not like at the quote level with that. That's not a movie that I have like the quotables ready, James. That's another one I've been meaning to rewatch for a while. It's been forever. Knowles, 100+ season for Nico. Curb your enthusiasm. Luke, Fantasyland, Jack and Luke for Thompson, Tuck, and a bunch of picks. Oh, boy. This is where we get into the absurd trade scenarios. Noel says, not judging. I like his enthusiasm. Yo, Holmes, my brother was working at the IZOD today. It's a giant TV set on the inside now. I've heard that. I've wanted to get back in there for a while just to kind of walk around and see what it looks like. I would imagine a lot of it probably looks similar. All right, guys. Got to use the bathroom real quick. Questions, thoughts, comments, concerns. Devil Heaven, that's blasphemous. Mighty Ducks sucked. How dare you? How dare you, Devil Heaven? Mighty Ducks sucked. You might be in the minority with that. Frank says, I'd take 100 from Nico, but not at the expense of his two-way excellence. Tyler, what's going on? Dadonov going to be a sneaky 20 goal scorer playing on Jack's wing? Yeah, that'd be nice. Although I will say I'm hoping Gritsuk just explodes and forces him off that top line. But if not, I'd be thrilled with Dadonov getting 20. John Fay, now that's more possible, but against which team if it was to happen? Yeah, Yo Holmes. Oh, the Mighty Ducks won. Crazy. I like all of them, but the first one was insane. Cake Eater. Noel says Mighty Ducks sucked. Calling Coach Bombay right now. Michael, Mighty Ducks didn't suck, Cake Eater. I was getting hit with the Cake Eaters. Mighty Ducks is just a legendary franchise. If you're a hockey fan and you're like, we're a kid remotely during those years, I don't know how it's not high on your list. Forget just hockey movies. Mighty Ducks is in like childhood nostalgia movies, period. Like, I'm not going to say it's pretty much in that realm with like the Home Alones and the Sandlots of the world. It's right up there. It is right up there. All right, guys, I'm curious, though. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick and get another drink. I'm just crushing the hydration here, trying to stay hydrated. I ate a lot of salty foods today, but what kind of videos? I'm looking for suggestions of stuff that's like somewhat attainable. I'm curious what ideas, like what kind of videos would you guys like? Any suggestions at all? I'm curious. No one's really been throwing any out there. So yeah, I'm looking for some just suggestions of stuff you guys would like to see. So throw that out there. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll start winding this down. I'm not running away just yet, but you guys are hilarious. It says it's very PG, so some people it's too much geared for kids. I mean, listen, it's a kid's movie, but I made my nephews watch it when they were little, and I enjoyed watching it as an old man. Yo, Holmes says Mighty Ducks sucked so much they created a real NHL team called Mighty Ducks. Nico is king. Speaking of movies being filmed in Jersey, Adam Sandler is filming something at Montclair State, and they turned the whole school into UCLA. That's not surprising. Tyler, who's going to play fourth line center? Ooh, there's some guys fighting it out. I can't wait to see who it is. And maybe it will be Glendening. I mean, who knows? Robbie's bench toss, 5'0", 170-pound Gordon Bombay, just a short step from the NHL with the Minnesota Wave. Knowles, get a Markey interview about his contract. Need to know. Want his number on a jersey. I love Markey. Would love to interview Markey, obviously. Ethan says it was so much fun meeting him and getting to see that film. I go to Montclair. Did you get to talk to Adam Sandler? I missed him all summer long. Earlier in the summer, they were filming Happy Gilmore 2, like super close to where I live and all types of other places in the area. And I always found out just a little bit too late. Yo, Holmes, Nico. Sandler was filming Happy Gilmore 2 at Montclair Country Club. Also, he produces his daughter's stuff locally, too. I think he's living there now, Yo, Holmes, right? Isn't he filming some other stuff? And he's living in Montclair? That's what I heard. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Going to use the bathroom. Questions, comments, ideas and suggestions is what I'm really looking for here. Outside of like the norm, like, you know, I'm going to, you know what to expect kind of at this point. If you have something kind of outside of that realm, I'll be right back. Be right back. And we are back. We are back, but I'm gonna get to your comments in a second. I was walking around, like I said. I have more, and this is not to like be like a braggart or whatever, but I legitimately have a Devils museum worth of memorabilia, ranging from game-worn jerseys, game-worn equipment, gloves, skates, helmets, game-used goal pucks, signed photos, just tons of shit, all bobbleheads, tickets, programs, millions of stuff. But this is a piece I came across recently that I forgot about. This is a beautiful plaque from the 2003 Stanley Cup with a great photo of Marty making what looks like a glove save. Beautifully signed by Marty from the 2003 Cup Finals. And then if you could see on the bottom here, the placard has a piece of the net. 2003 Stanley Cup champions. It gives you the regular season record, 46, 20, 10, and 6. 108 points. First round defeated Boston 4-1. Eastern Conference semifinals defeated Tampa Bay 4-1. Eastern Conference Finals defeated Ottawa 4-3. Stanley Cup Finals defeated Anaheim 4-3. Actual game used net from the 2003 Stanley Cup Championship. And there's the little swatch in the case. And there's the Marty, and this is hand numbered. Only 30 of these made. A beautiful plaque commemorating that beautiful 2003 Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils team. My personal favorite Devils Cup team of all of them. John, who would you like to interview on the Devils, Ace? And it could only be one player from our current NHL squad. Oof. One guy? One guy from the current team. One guy from the current team. It'd be hard to pick one. I mean, I'd like to interview all of them, but if I had to pick one, wow. One guy. It might be Markey. I don't know. That's a tough one. There's so many. I'd like to interview tons of them, but I think Markey just personality-wise and kind of where he's at in his career, I think Markey would be a super interesting one. Michael, content recommendation, how to carve a shank out of your toothbrush and sneak it into Gen Pop. Nico is king. Video suggestions, maybe some standings prediction, look around the Metro Division, stuff like that. Yeah, as we get closer to the season, I will do some season prediction type stuff for sure. M. Sharp says anything on Markey and Allen. Yo Holmes says, I heard Sandman has been around, but I haven't seen him personally. I usually run into all the weirdos in town. Knowles, he was like right by me here filming Happy Gilmore too. Also, I mean, they were all over New Jersey. It was crazy. He loves New Jersey. Montclair is absolutely beautiful. Love the theater for heavy metal shows. Great town. I'm assuming you're talking about the Wellmont. Knowles, love all the big homes in Montclair. Love the town on a giant hill field. Yeah. What is the Meat Locker? I know about Wellmont. Devil Dog, interview former or current Devils prospects, spit and chiclet style. Devils team media is kind of a joke. I mean, they try. I do think they could do so much more, but it is what it is. If you're here, you're a hockey junkie like myself, and I could never get enough, so I'd like to see more. But I have some former Devils in the chamber for some old school Devils talk, and I'm hoping to get those done in the next couple months. But I got some absolutely just throwback guys in the mix. M. Sharp, if you do interviews at The Rock, fan favorite players and why? Yeah, it's interesting. I never thought about doing that. I mean, I did, but I don't know. Do people really? It's interesting, like interviewing people outside and like doing stuff like that. I've thought about it. Maria says, nice rink at Montclair. John Fay, I got to get used to him coming from the right. He used to leave from the left. Did I? I thought it was the same. Did I? Well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, you're right. I did go the other way. It's true. M. Sharp, contest for games. Guess right. Score anything from the game for running with the Devil's hat or cap. Okay, I'll do. And so speaking of contests and giveaways, there's going to be a monster giveaway show, guys. I'm hoping to put the detail. I've been delayed on this. I wanted to do this months ago, and I was still digging through all the shit. as I'm getting ready to finally just get over the hump here and build out the final version of the studio here, I'm sifting through just like huge tote bins of items, and I am putting together a massive giveaway show. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It is going to be pretty insane. There's going to be signed stuff, pucks, all kinds of stuff spanning a wide range of years and players. So there will be a massive giveaway show coming up very soon. Jonathan Decker, I have that New Jersey Devils mascot bobblehead at the end. I think it was a giveaway from a game. Surprisingly well made. Yep, this is one of my favorites. This was from 2002 or 3, I believe, NJ Devil, and this is back when bobbleheads were heavy and great construction. If you compare this bobblehead from 20 years ago to what they do now, it's like night and day. But this NJ Devil bobblehead is high quality. One of my favorites. And Marty. This Marty weighs a ton, actually. This is from the same season. The old school Marty giveaway bobblehead featuring the mask that flips up, huh? Eh? Super heavy. You got the JP Morgan Chase on there. No, the video sponsor tonight was Polar Seltzer, orange vanilla. Husky and Chain 2000 was the best cup team. I agree with you that it was the best team. I'm just saying my personal favorite and I was the closest to the 2003 team. I was a little bit older. I went to a lot of the regular season games. I went to all the home playoff games except game 1 against Boston. And so I felt the most connected to that team, which is why they're my favorite. But the 2000 team, I would say, is definitely the best. Frank says, I have a similar plaque, has all five players who played on all 3 cup teams. Very nice. Noel's jealous, bro. Marty is a huge part of my bragging rights to some family hockey nights competition. Wish I could get him to sign my jersey that Danico signed already. Yeah, that'd be nice. Husky and Chain Dylan. Dylan is on my short list, too. Love Dilly. He'd be a great interview as well. Another complete throwback. Matt says, I have a Brodeur rookie card that he signed number 29. That's very cool. Yo, Holmes, I was on a date at the rink in Montclair once for a free skate, and the girl I was with toe-picked herself immediately, crashed face first into the boards. It was a date you don't forget. That's pretty nice. Wellmont, Faye, people don't respect the great state that is New Jersey and what we have to offer. It is a pretty good state. Jonathan Decker, I used to play the meat locker. Can you still smoke there? Knowles, haters going to hate. We have a lot to brag about, especially with hockey. Yo, Holmes, Meat Locker is a couple doors down from Just Jake's. It's a local heavy metal goth club. Lots of interesting and fun girls go there. I've never heard of it. Been to Just Jake's plenty of times. Never heard of this Meat Locker. Maria wants to know if she ever talked to you again. Husky, give away the Arnott photo to me. The Arnott photo is a keeper. Devil having Oreos and milk tonight. They taste good. Love Oreos and milk. What a great combo. Yo Holmes says, Maria, yeah, we dated for a bit. It wasn't my fault. I'm just glad she didn't break her nose. It was brutal. Yeah, the flip-up mask was a nice touch on the Marty. Old school quality. Old school quality. Orange vanilla is very good. Yo, Holmes, 2001 team may even be better. Yeah, what a loaded team we had in 2000 and possibly even more loaded in 01. A team that ultimately fell short in the Cup Finals in 7 games, the Avalanche, which is why I will hate the Avalanche forever. And Ray Bork from that stupid 16W and all. It was a lot to deal with. M. Sharp, who goes into the Ring of Honor this year? Video coming out tomorrow. Ring of Honor video talk tomorrow. Dedicated video. This is Devils history. You know your boy's nostalgic as all hell when it comes to our New Jersey Devils. Ring of Honor video drops tomorrow. Devil Dog, ask your viewers for their best stories. Some of us diehards have at least one instead of just randos outside the rock. That could be interesting, actually, because then I could pre-record them. All right, that's an idea. I like this one. I have to figure out maybe how I do that. I do like that. They didn't announce the Ring of Honor person yet. It's going to be announced at a later date. Michael says 2025 Ring of Honor, I'd vote Rafalski. Love Brian Rafalski. 2-time Cup champ with your New Jersey Devils. 2000 and 2003. Nico's King says, no brainer. It should be Doc. Honestly, a shame he hasn't been inducted already. All right, guys. I think that's it for your boy. I'm running out of gas here. Got some things to do. Got some things to do, and maybe going to go watch Youngblood. May go watch Youngblood. All right, guys, that's it. If you're newer to the channel, thanks for joining. Hope you're enjoying the post-game lives. Check out the vlogs on the channel if you haven't seen it yet. If you're into that sort of thing, I'm trying to speak some interviews that are interesting. If you're into interviews, I pinned at the top here the Jakob Malik interview. Interviewed Don LaGreca. That was a good one. Some other old school guys on there from some months back. But that's it, guys. The boys are back in action. 2 games on Sunday. Split squad at home against the Caps in Quebec. In a mutual site game against the Sens. And hopefully we see some more positivity and some good play from some of these guys we have an eye on. Haven't decided if I'm going to go to the game yet. I might. Sundays, I'm usually, I just wiped out a Sunday last Sunday with the game, and I might be doing it again. It's typically like family day for me where I do a lot of family-related things. But back on Sunday for a post game for 2 games, although we're not going to be able to see anything from the 1 game in Quebec, just the home game against Washington. But I'll be back soon. Ring of Honor video dropping at some point tomorrow. Always things dropping, lots of stuff in the works, and blah, 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 blah. And that's it, guys. I'm toast. Toast. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Hit that thumbs up on the way out or right now. Just hit it right now. Just hit it. I don't know how many of you are in here, but just hit it. Hit the thumbs up. We'll get that taken care of. But back soon. Appreciate the suggestions. Trying to figure out, what types of stuff you guys would like to see / be a part of. Always looking to kind of innovate new and exciting ways for all of us to talk about our team. Talk about this team we love so much that we want to see do something big this season. Oh, we all want it. I could just visualize myself drinking those ice-cold Bud Lights on Championship Plaza in June with shorts on and sunglasses and just living my best life in the sunlight outside of the Rock in beautiful Newark, New Jersey. Let's manifest it, my friends, because I need it so badly. So badly. 23 years since we last won a cup. And come this cup finals, it'll be 23 years. Such a damn shame. All right, guys. You guys are the best. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.